let's jump into our buttered, plain, or burnt segment this week. So we're going to switch this up a little bit. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you guys three guys, and you're going to tell me buttered, plain, burnt based on who you would want to start your franchise with if we started today. And it'll be a little bit more, ambiguous. You guys will be able to kind of. There's no right or wrong answer here, but I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear the takes here. So the three players are going to be Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson, or Elly De La Cruz. Joe, we're going to start with you this week. Go ahead and give me your buttered, plain, or burnt.
Buttered, I'm going Bobby Witt Jr. Plain, I'm going Gunnar Henderson. And burnt, I'm going Elly De La Cruz.
You want to give some context to that?
Yeah, I think Bobby Witt Jr. is just a slightly better version of Gunnar Henderson. He's better defensively. He has more pop, and he's faster. So you get the speed, power combo on top of better defensive metrics. He also has a more proven track record, even though he's been in the league a hair longer, but he does have two 30-30 seasons. And Gunnar, he did win AL Rookie of the Year, but he just doesn't have those stats yet accumulated. And when it comes to Elly, I think you could argue that he has the highest ceiling, even though I don't agree with that. But I think from a speed perspective, he obviously is the best out of those three. But to me, I want someone, if I had to choose between the three, he just doesn't put the ball in play enough. He doesn't hit for a high enough average. He is a do or die type of player, and I'd rather have a more consistent player if I had to build a franchise around them. So if I had to choose between the three, I would once again go with Bobby Witt Jr. Because I think he's the better option than Gunnar.
Casey?
Yeah, I'm going to go exactly the way Joe went for basically the exact same reasons. Bobby Witt, buttered, Gunnar plain, Elly burnt. And really the only reason why is because Elly just strikes out too much. He's got 174 strikeouts this year, and the other two have 131 for Gunnar and 123 for Bobby. So really what's crazy is if Elly's strikeouts mimicked the other two and he was in that 120 to 135 range like the other two, he probably would be the best of the three. But the fact remains he struggles with strikeouts. And so, I'm taking Bobby. He's just a guy that does everything right. He, puts the ball in play when he gets two strikes on him. He plays great defense. He swipes bags. And he's locked up long term. Does money come into this?
No, not necessarily. This is more of a hypothetical. So I guess if I'm playing the game as well, the one thing I would look at switching would be potentially Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt Jr. And the one reason that I would consider doing that is Bobby Witt is the oldest of these three at 25 years old. Gunnar's 24 years old. Gunnar also, I feel like, is a bit more of a consistent player than what we've seen from Bobby Witt Jr. And not significantly, but just slightly. If you look at the at the OPS plus numbers offensively, I think the ceiling that we've seen from Bobby Witt Jr. is higher. Obviously, he had that year last year, which you could make the argument he was the MVP with a 174 OPS plus. But he has had years where he's at like 102 and 118. Gunnar Henderson, every single season that he's been in the bigs, he's been over a 125 OPS plus. This year he's at a 122. Still, the floor I feel like is a little higher for Gunnar, and the ceiling might be a little bit higher for Bobby Witt Jr. So that one I can see potentially switching those guys out. I think we're probably pulling at straws, trying to figure out who's potentially the better player there. Elly De La Cruz, obviously the youngest of these three, right? So 23 years old. He's got the speed factor that is just a complete game changer. I mean, I've seen singles where he's on first base and he makes it all the way home. So it is pretty impressive what he can do. I do think that there's an approach change that's going to have to happen there. You know, at some point he's got to cut down the strikeouts, or he's going to end up in a situation where we're going to be looking at him similarly to O'Neal Cruz, right? We don't want him to get there. I don't think he will. I think he's in a better organization. I think he's got better coaching and managing with Tito and some of the guys in the Reds organization. So I would say I'm pretty aligned with you guys that I think Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson are the buttered and the plain. I just could argue, if we were just arguing for argument's sake, to put Gunnar Henderson in that first spot.
Yeah, I mean, I love Gunnar. He's the number 1 draft pick for the Jans Dynasty draft. However, I think I would have picked Bobby if he was available. But the one caveat that I would have with Gunnar, especially with his OPS plus average rating comparative to the two, especially to Bobby, is that he's in the best hitting situation.
Sure.
Not only from a park standpoint, but from a lineup standpoint. And to me, that's what makes Bobby Witt Jr. even more impressive, is that he's been able to have those type of seasons with minimal protection and minimal people being able to drive him in when he does get on base.
Yeah.
So he's, to me, that's why he's the clear-cut buttered in this situation.
Can I bring one more potential caveat into it? So obviously this is extremely limited, but both players have been in the playoffs. Both players play in the AL. So both have had similar experiences on a playoff stage. Gunnar, to this point in his call it 22 plate appearances, has a 316 average in the playoffs, 409 on base percentage, and a 474 slug. Bobby Witt, in his limited experience but 27 plate appearances, has hit 192, 222 OBP, and only slugged 192. His OPS is a 415. He's not shown up in the spots yet. Obviously, again, super small, sample size here, but it does beg the question: who would you trust in the playoffs? I don't know yet. It's going to be time will tell. But in big spots, I do want to see these guys under pressure a little bit more. Neither one of them have been in spots very often where, they've had high leverage situations.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. So that's why franchises need AJs in their room so they can save top 20 draft picks and
Exactly.
top 20 prospects. It's like, yeah, we're not going to give you that guy because Bobby Witt's hitting 170 in the postseason, dude. Take it or leave it.
I mean, it could be a Judge situation, man.
I was about to say, when is Aaron Judge's name going to get mentioned? In this
I knew it was gonna get thrown
We
in.
don't need another Judge, okay? No, you're not getting Enrique Dublar, our 18th ranked prospect.
To
He's staying
AJ's point,
in-house.
to AJ's point about Elly potentially being like O'Neal Cruz, Elly has 174 Ks this year. O'Neal Cruz only has 168 Ks. Both of them, that's a ton of swing and miss. But, he's striking out more than O'Neal Cruz this year. Mind you, he's got 60 points higher batting average than Cruz. But
They're also both like 6'8" and like 110
Long.
pounds. It's crazy.
yeah.
Richie Sexson.
Yes, very much so.